Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Fits here in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world. But then you too are at the center of the world, and I'll explain that one day. The title of this talk is You Can't Stop the TOT, T-O-T. Can't stop the TOT. Now, what in the hell am I talking about? You know, we really need to get to, in Buddhism, it's basically, there's a metaphor of you want to get to the other shore. Get to the other shore. So how do you get to we want to get off of this shore because it's dissatisfactory, it's imperfect, it's messy, I hurt on this shore, something's not right, something's missing, it could be better. You know, it's the discontent, the angst, the nagging feeling that something is missing is a problem with this shore, which is where we're standing. So we want to get to the other shore, the promised land. And the other shore could be either backwards or forwards. It could be like the promised land, the promised other shore. I want to get to it. Or if you're a Republican, it would be in the past, like our original state, our pure state, the Garden of Eden. So I want to restore the garden. But on the left, we want to get to the garden. So the other shore is either in the past or in the future. But we're miserable in hell right here. So we need a new metaphor. My practice, and it just happens spontaneously, is that I see metaphors in my everyday world that helps us. It gives us a handle. You see this? This is my holy shawl. It's kind of chilly in here this morning. So we need new metaphors. The other shore is an old metaphor. That goes all the way back to Buddhism. It's the dead metaphor. The other shore. It's not new. It's dead. It's not living. So what we need to get to the other shore, if there is another shore, is a living metaphor that comes out of our everyday life. Not out of some other life, some other civilization. It has to be fresh. It's like fresh sourdough bread. You smell, you go by the bakery, it's fresh. We need fresh metaphors. You need to discover these metaphors in your own everyday life. Not use dead metaphors from the past. It's stale bread. You want fresh bread. So what's a fresh metaphor that we can use to get a handle on this getting to the other shore? So what's a TOT? So a TOT is a train of thought. T-O-T. Now what can be more, using a metaphor, with Blackstone there is a train track that runs through the town. And we're all familiar with crossroads where the train goes through. And if you're walking or driving, you have to sit there and wait for the train to pass. It's got boxcars on it. And the boxcars are painted. They got signs. They got names. They got brands. And you may go, you want to read, what does that boxcar say? Oop. And then you go up, and then you go whoop, and then you go whoop as the train passes. And it's a solid wall. You don't see the other side of the road. You don't see the other shore. You're on this shore, and you're reading words. You're reading language. You're reading symbols. A train of thought. A TOT, you see. And then suddenly, boom, it's gone, and you continue. But the metaphor is that while you are waiting there, if you're reading the thought, if you're following the thought, You can't see the other side of the road. But the next time you come to a crossroads, try this. Just relax your mind. Don't follow the boxcars. Don't read the thought. Let them go by. You can't stop the train. You can't stop the TOT. But just let it go by. And you'll discover that you see through the boxcars. You see through the thought. And there's the other side of the road with people standing there looking at you. It's as if the train wasn't even there. You see right through it. You see through the thought. You see through the gaps in the thought. That's a favorite. You see through the space of thought. Well, this is a metaphor that shows you how to do it. You can go do this yourself. Just go find a train. Stand there. Relax your mind. Let the train see through the thought. And there is the other shore, and there is no other shore. It's all one shore. It's all one shore, you see. T.S. Eliot said, we can't help, at the end, we cannot help but explore, but at the end of our exploring, we'll see where we started as if for the first time. So when you practice this living metaphor, because it's a living metaphor from our everyday experience, the train of thought passing the road like a wall, and you see through it, and you realize that there is no other shore. The other shore was only there because you couldn't see it. But if you can see it, where is the other shore? It's this shore. And you're always on this shore. There is no other shore. There's only one shore. and there is no shore then. It's like one land, one reality, one now, one presence. But it's the trains of thought that create the wall, that creates the duality between me and the other shore. And this is time. This is time, you see. Time, Krishnamurti told me this back in the 60s. Still working on it. Thought is time. Thought creates past, present, future. A train of thought is time. But if you see through the train of thought, you see through time. And you're just here. You're just here. And what is here is just what's here. What is. There is no better place. There is no better world. There's no better you. This is it. This is it. So you can't stop the TOT. You can't stop the TOT. You can't stop the train of thought. Because it's a thought that wants to stop it. I think I'll stop thought. I'll think I'll stop thinking. You see the trap? So you can't stop thinking. You can't stop the thought. But you can just see through it when you stop following the thought. Isn't this fun? Thanks for dropping in.